Students, if we observe the different organisms which are present around us, they are extremely diverse. There are similarities as well as dissimilarities. Similarity is because of a process called inheritance. That is, the characteristic features present in the parent gets transferred to the offspring. Dissimilarity is because of variation, a process where the individuals of a common ancestor differ. The work of Mendel and others who followed him gave us an idea about the different patterns of inheritance. With this basic information, let's get started with the first question. Father of experimental genetics. The options are Gregor Mendel, T.H. Morgan, Hugo de Vries and Karl Lorenz. Students, when we look at this question, Gregor Mendel is the option that catches our attention because we are all aware Gregor Mendel is called the father of genetics or father of modern genetics. But here the question is father of experimental genetics. So the first option is not the right one. The second one, T.H. Morgan. T.H. Morgan did a lot of experiments using Drosophila, and this paved way for existence of a new branch called experimental genetics. So the right option is B. Why are the other two options wrong? Hugo de Vries is the one who proposed mutation theory, and Karl Lorenz gave what is called incomplete dominance. Let's go to the next question. Turner syndrome is. Options are XO, XXY, XXX and XYY. Now, Turner syndrome, the name comes from the person who first found it, Dr. Turner. It is actually a disorder, and this disorder is generally found in female. And the person who is infected by this disorder will be sterile. What is the reason for being sterile is, we are all aware to be a fertile female human being, 2 X chromosomes are required. But here there is deletion of 1 X chromosome, that is XO is the condition. B, XXY. XXY, if you observe, this is a condition that generally we find in case of sterile male. Here basically to be a male human being, we require X and Y. But due to the presence of an extra X, the sterile human male will have extra female characteristic features. XXX is the condition of super female, where because of the presence of an extra X chromosome, they will be super females. The last one, XYY, is a condition just meant to mislead you people. Next question. Which of the following condition is called monosomics? You can see here there are some conditions where 2n represents a diploid chromosome set. You can see here when one chromosome is added to a diploid set, this condition is actually called triploid condition. That is, to the diploid set, 1 chromosome is added. The next one, if you observe, there to the diploid set 2 chromosomes are added. It forms what is called a tetraploid condition. The third one, you can see from a diploid set 1 chromosome is removed. That results in what is called monosomics. And the last one, n plus 1, it is a haploid set plus 1 chromosome. So, the right answer is C. Students, let's see the next set of questions. A Hollandric gene causes hypertrichosis. When a man with hypertrichosis marries a woman, normal woman, what percentage of their daughters would be expected to have hypertrichosis? The options are 50%, 25%, 75% and 0%. Let me tell you first what is hypertrichosis. Hypertrichosis is actually presence of a tuft of hairs on the pinna, or what we say external ear. Now, this characteristic feature appears when there is the presence of Hollandric gene. What is this Hollandric gene? Hollandric gene is a gene which is present on Y chromosomes. Okay? So, it will be present only in case of male, not in case of female. So, if you see the options, 50%, 25%, 75% and 0%. Now, let us see the question once again. What percentage of their daughters? We are aware Hollandric genes are found only on X chromosomes and daughters will have chromosome complement XX. Y is not present. That is why the right option is D, 0%. Eyes that slant upwards with epicanthus. Options: Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome, Down syndrome and superfemale. Let me first tell you what is epicanthus. Epicanthus is actually a fold of skin which is found on the upper side of the eye. So, let me tell you the characteristic features that are found in all these syndromes. Klinefelter syndrome, it is nothing but a sterile male. He will not show the presence of main male characteristic features, but instead of that he will show female secondary characteristic features. Turner syndrome is a sterile female where she will not be sterile and she will show secondary male characteristic features. Down's syndrome, we are aware that Down's syndrome is a monosomic kind of disorder where the person who is affected by this particular disorder will have a moon shape face or a Mongolian look. Along with this, you can observe that the eyes will be slant little bit upwards and there will be a fold on the upper part of the eyes. Super females, they show all characteristic features of female because of the presence of one extra X chromosome. So, the right answer over here is option C, Down's syndrome. Dear students, let us see the next set of questions. Which is the false statement? Sickle cell anemia is a recessive autosomal disorder. Phenylketonuria is a recessive allosomal disorder. Hemophilia is a recessive sex-linked disorder. Color blindness is a recessive allosome-linked disorder. Now, the question is we have to find which is the false statement among these four. Now, first let me tell you what are autosomes and allosomes. Basically, chromosomes can be classified into two types. The chromosomes which determine sex, or what we say the sex chromosomes. they are called allosomes, and the chromosomes which are not involved in sex determination or the non-sex chromosomes are called autosomes. So, we are all aware in human beings we have 22 pairs of autosomes and a pair of allosomes. So, here in the first option you can see sickle cell anemia is a recessive autosomal disorder. So, this answer is right because you can see in the autosomal when there is recessive autosomes present in a pair, that results in this particular disease. Second one, phenylketonuria is a recessive allosomal disorder. Now, here we have to pay a little bit attention. Why? Because you can see though phenylketonuria is a recessive disorder, it is not found on an allosomal chromosome or on an allosome. That is, it is actually a disorder which is linked with or which is with respect to a recessive autosome, not a sex determining chromosome. Next one, hemophilia is a recessive sex linked disorder. This option is also correct because hemophilia is a recessive sex linked disorder because it is linked to the X chromosome. The next one, color blindness is a recessive allosome linked disorder. This statement is also correct because this is also a disorder which is linked to the allosome or the sex chromosomes. So, because of all these, the right answer is phenylketonuria is a recessive allosomal disorder. That is, this is the false statement among all these four.